How's it going, everyone? College Lefty, and in this video I'm going to be explaining how to use the pinpoint pitching method. I believe it is the best pitching method in MLB The Show 21, and it took me a little bit to try and practice it and master it. I'm going to be talking a little bit about different ways to do that and how you can improve your stick skills. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I am also going to try and provide a few extra tips in this video just for people that already know how to use pinpoint pitching, and that way it's not a waste of your time. We have a brand new May Player of the Month coming out, and I think we're going to get a 96 overall Marcus Semien. I think that would be a pretty good selection. I think we will also see a Diamond Max Muncy, Nicholas Castellanos, and Jesse Winker involved with that program. But one thing I wanted to talk about is different ways to practice this pinpoint pitching method. Okay, so I'm in Conquest against the Rockies on Legend difficulty. This is a good opportunity to practice your zone hitting as well as pinpoint pitching. You can get some parallel XP from doing this as well. Okay, so this is one of my methods on how to practice pinpoint, but basically the most important thing when using pinpoint is the downward motion hitting that light blue circle that is shrinking as the pitcher is going through the motion. You can still throw pretty good pitches when your accuracy on your right analog stick moving around in a circle or moving down and up into the left, different motions like that can be slightly off, and you can still throw a perfect release pitch. All right, so those are a couple things to keep in mind. We have several examples. And while I'm doing this, I'm earning XP, I'm earning, parallel XP as well, trying to get my players super factored. Now, this is not something that I've done a lot in MLB The Show 21. I've mainly grinded ranked seasons and online competitive modes against other people. I'm just specifically doing this for this pinpoint pitching video. But as you can see, if you miss with early feedback, we'll go into slow motion here. A couple different pitches. All right, we have pretty good accuracy on this motion around in a circle, and I am early on my downward motion with my right stick towards that blue circle. It happens again right here, and this is also using a pitcher that has very poor control, right? He only has like 55 control on Legend difficulty. You can see that range for a perfect pitch is significantly increased depending on the pitch I select. I'm going to be using different pitchers. I'm going to be showing you different examples, and I'm going to talk about where this comes into effect when you're trying to make World Series in ranked season. So next, we're going to get into a different way to practice pinpoint pitching. Using this method, you don't necessarily earn XP or as much. You don't necessarily earn parallel XP. We are just hopping into this custom practice mode. We're going to be using the Legend teams because there are a couple brand new pitchers that I want to try out with pinpoint pitching, and there are also a couple pitchers that I've already used that I like to practice this pinpoint pitching method with. All right, so we're going to use Pedro Martinez. I use this motion on my created player that's also a pitcher, and I wanted to show you, I'm trying to purposely get early feedback on those sliders. This pitcher obviously has more control than Jake Diekman, but it's a similar example. I wanted to show you that you can practice, throwing runners out. You can practice your slide step. You can practice throwing from the stretch. The main thing with pinpoint pitching is that all of these different motions vary with the feedback you need in order to get a perfect pitch. All right, so when I first started using this method, I was throwing pitches in the dirt almost every single time. I was late on my release. I wasn't using the release correctly. I was throwing a lot of pitches like this. But now that I've practiced it a little bit, I've been able to, increase the amount of pitches or the different types of pitches in certain locations that I throw. And it's actually helped me a lot with pitching in MLB The Show 21. I want to talk a little bit about that. Before we get into that topic, I wanted to show you one more tip on how to use different builds at different positions in Diamond Dynasty with your created ball player. So as you can see, I have a slick fielding catcher that's a bronze build activated. My player's only at an 86 overall, but that won't necessarily matter. I'm just using that active catcher loadout, so that way I can actually activate the Hawk loadout and get those attributes at the catcher position. Okay, so as you can see, the catcher build was activated. I I clicked on the hawk, and I have adjusted him a little bit. Instead of fielding 7, I put a different power boost, and that gives me less fielding but better power. I don't think it will matter as much for a catcher. But with that said, let's get back into the pinpoint pitching method. Here we're trying John Franco out. This legend version of John Franco on these legend teams has a splitter. This is probably the most difficult pitch to throw with this pinpoint pitching method. So we're going to try and practice it. We're also going to mix in the changeup. We're going to mix in a couple slide steps, and then I'm going to take you through a few additional tips towards the end of this video here. But I was not really able to throw, cutters inside, righty-righty, sliders inside, righty-righty. This one I missed with early feedback, but this is why we're doing this. We're practicing these different pitches with specific pitchers. I've never used Dennis Eckersley in MLB The Show 21. He just recently came out. Obviously, this legend version of this card was already in the legend rosters, but I had not used the signature series. I will be picking that card up. I feel like he's very effective, but this is why we're practicing this, right? I have a situation where this opponent in my World Series game got on first base with Byron Buxton. This is in the bottom of the first inning. I'm going with a slide step. I need to be on point with these pitches. Now, obviously, these releases were not the greatest, but I am hitting that blue circle with the downward motion. Even though I'm slightly early, even though my accuracy is not the greatest, hitting that blue circle is the most important. But also, if you notice, I was early on that last slider, and it was right down the middle to Freddie Freeman. That was not a good pitch. That could have easily been a 2-0 ball game, and that is why I hopped into this custom practice, to work on those slide steps a little bit, to work on throwing different pitches with different pitchers. Here I'm going to take you through an opportunity where you can practice throwing base runners out, even when they're not stealing, right? I'm going with the fastball. As soon as the pitch is coming in, I'm tapping the triangle button. We have Ivan Rodriguez behind the plate, so he has one of the better animations. He's going to have diamond defense with a cannon for an arm. So that's going to help. But in this, with this opportunity, I'm practicing using this catcher's throwing meter. Sometimes people will say that it's bugged in ranked seasons. I have not had an issue, but that's because I am pressing triangle as the pitch is coming in. So I'll explain. Right now, I would press triangle, and then if he didn't hit it, I would press it again. So right now, and then again. It's a double press of triangle or square, whichever base you're going to. If you're trying to steal specific bases, right? Let's say you have a runner on first and third. You have to aim the left stick towards the runner you want to steal with and press the L2 button, okay, until it vibrates a little bit, and then your runner will automatically take off once the pitcher has thrown the pitch. But I'm College Lefty, and those are some advanced pinpoint pitching tips. Peace out.